Hello, welcome you in this session. Myself MP Misra, Associate Professor, School of Computer and Information Sciences, IGNOU, New Delhi. In this session, I will be talking about different softwares which we generally use for the purpose of different activities which we perform in our computer system. But in general, the topic of this session has been given Introduction to Operating System. So in this session, we will try to know that what are the different type of software which we generally use in our general purpose use computers, and what specifically operating system means, what are different kind of operating systems or type of operating system available around us, because we keep on listening that I have Linux operating system installed on my machine, I have Windows operating system, and if you are using some other portable devices like mobile phone or some smart watch, then those devices are also managed with the help of operating system. If you remember in your last session, it has been discussed that operating system is very important part of whole working environment of the computer system. Basically, operating system is whole sole responsible for providing you the working ambience in which you work on your computer. So, if in the very beginning itself I say that without operating system our computer is not of any use, then you can understand that how important an operating system is. So, with this preamble or with this basic introduction of this particular discussion of this session, let me proceed further and let me try to know first what actually a software means. Because if we are working on a computer system or if we are having a computer system even for our different kind of purposes, whether for your library management or whether you see the computer system on almost all the counters of the different shops which are managing their different kind of selling, purchasing activities, they are being used for the management of the stock of their products. In addition to that, you see many students are nowadays using computer for their studies. You are using computer for the purpose of browsing the net, accessing the social media. You are using computer for the purpose of having some fun by using different components, like if you are having some videos, you are watching it. If you are having some game, you are playing on computer system. So what actually all these are, and all these are somewhere related to each other, or just they developed on fly and just something come in your mind and that is available in the computer system. It is not going to happen. Basically, if you are using your smartphone, you see that whenever you need any apps, which generally we say apps, that is application. So you download that particular application and then you install that particular application, and after that it may be you are doing certain kind of setting as per requirement of that specific application and you are using it. So as a user, if you see a software is a kind of product, that particular is providing some kind of service. But from the perspective of the person who is involved in the whole process of development of that product, so for that person the computer software is nothing but collection of some programs which are specifically written for the different specific purposes. So if you see different softwares from the perspective of the developer, so those softwares are nothing but collection of different programs. And what is a program? A program is set of instructions. Now what is an instruction? An instruction is something which is being processed by your processor. It may be add two numbers. If you are writing, it means you are writing an instruction. For adding two number, obviously something will be happening, that you will be providing two number as input, then some operations will be happening inside the computer, then those two numbers will be added and you will get the result of that particular two numbers sum. So it is a simple program. Similarly, if there is a big system and big activities are happening or complex activities are happening, in that you are having thousands of instructions written and all those instructions will be executing either sequentially or they will be selected on the basis of certain conditions. So in programming, these all things are taken care of, that in which condition what kind of code will be executed, in which condition what kind of code to be avoided, in which condition what kind of response from the computer system should come, what kind of input is expected. If that kind of input is not provided to that specific application, what will happen? For example, if you are running one application, in that you have to provide your date of birth, then definitely you will provide that input in that specific format. So even up to that minute level, everything is taken care of, so that the proper input is provided, and after that, that particular input is processed and you get the result. So you can see so many bigger applications like railway reservation system. You see how complex that system is. It is nothing but a online software. In that software you have registered yourself, you log in, and then you perform different kind of reservation or cancellation activities. Sometimes you use different kind of facilities provided by them to find out whether seats are available in a specific train to go from one place to another place or not. So all these things are happening on the basis of certain code or instructions written. And any set of instruction basically guide hardware to perform some kind of activity. Hardware, your processor is a hardware, so obviously that is performing some activity. Maybe one instruction suppose you have typed one page, one letter, and you want to get a printout of it. So once you give that particular instruction to print, then obviously you are going to get the printout of that. Who is interpreting that? The processor is interpreting. But how processor is interpreting? The code for that particular activity is written. So the code which is written and which is responsible for performing all the activities is known as software. That in summary we can understand, or we have to understand, that anything whatsoever is happening inside a computer system, that is happening with the help of software. Now next question comes, that how we can categorize different kind of software, or what are the different categories of software. So in that context, broadly we can categorize software in two categories to our simple understanding. One is the system software, another is the application software. It means those softwares which are being used for performing the system related activities. System related activities, I will explain little more what actually system related activities means. Then that particular software is known as system software. So in that also we can categorize in two subcategories. One is the operating system, which is very important software and which is available in almost every computer system. Without operating system, computer is not of any use. Second is the utility software. Some specific utility functions, or if you are going to perform some add-on activities, so for that particular add-on activity, if you are having some utilities, then that is utility software. For example, if you are having a computer system and you are working on it, and you need one software to protect your computer from viruses, so antivirus software can be seen as a utility software. Similarly, there are many more utility software for different kind of activities, but one best example to understand the utility software is the antivirus software. And operating system, as we are to a position to understand that without operating system nothing is going to happen. It means what is the role of the operating system in whole system? Operating system manages almost every activity of the computer system. What are the activities, or what are the things which are to be managed? One is you are having processor to process the things. So processor management is one of the major activities. You are having input output devices associated with your computer system. So IO management is another activity. Similarly, you are having memory in the system. So that memory management is another activity. Similarly, you are having different softwares or different files, let us say, because sometimes you develop different applications, you create your own folders, you create your own directories, and you keep those files for different purposes, or you manage that. So providing environment or providing facility to create those things and manage those things is the responsibility of operating system. So file management, input output management, memory management, process management, these all are the major or main activities of the operating system. In addition to that, because security is one of the most important aspect of now computer system nowadays. So security aspects also taken care by the operating system. If operating system is properly developed and designed, then it will be obviously secure and it will be providing you an secure environment to perform the activities or to work on it. So operating system and utility software, these are two broadly categorized system softwares. And next comes the application software. So applications are developed for different purposes. As I mentioned that one application, that railway reservation system, so that particular is the application developed for one activity. There may be some other applications you see in government agency or e-governance system, you find there are different applications has been developed by different state governments and central governments to perform different kind of services or to provide different kind of facility to their citizens. So those all are the different application software. Similarly, online shopping you are doing, if you are going on a portal and you are registering yourself and you are providing basic information, then you are selecting some item, purchasing it, paying the bill for that particular thing. So these all activities together, see, these are the different kind of applications which are performing different activities, and for that application has been developed. If an organization is having some application system for their payroll processing system, then that particular will be very specific application to that organization for payroll management system. Similarly, if as a student, even on the platform on which you are seeing this particular video, the Swayam platform, you see this is nothing but a portal generally we say, but this is what this is a type of application, this is a web application, and this particular web application is hosting a lot of programs. Lot of courses are available. Out of those courses, you have registered in this specific course by providing certain information, and you have been provided access to this course to pursue. So in that way you can see there are many applications around you, and if you go a little bit more further, you can see many applications in your smartphones. Those different apps are nothing but applications for different activities, and that is performing different kind of, whether gaming, whether some kind of social media conversation, whether some kind of scanning activity, or you are editing some video, audio. These all are the applications. Now complexity of the application depend on the nature or scale for which that particular application has been developed, and what is the volume of data which is being processed, and for how many people it is being used. So bigger social media platforms, you see millions of users are there, millions of people registered, and they are having different groups, subgroups, in that the things are being managed. So those are the very heavy and very complex applications, and all those things are managed with the help of the code, written code, executing somewhere, someplace, and managing the things. Code for each and everything. So now remember, whatsoever you see in a computer system happening, those all things are happening on the basis of certain code written, and that code is a program, whether for the system software or whether for the application software. For developing application programs, different programming language, different platforms, different IDEs, that is the integrated development environments, are used. If you are having databases, for that you will be using certain database management system. You will be using some programming language like C, C++, Java, C#, Python, and many more. If you are going to develop some web application, you will be using CSS, HTML, and maybe JavaScript or some other scripting language. Maybe you are using ASP or some advanced version of Java. So it's all depend on the kind of application being developed, the kind of platform you are using, and the kind of budget also, because sometimes some applications are proprietary and some applications are application environments are proprietary and some application environments are free. So in that the choice depends on the specific group or the user for whom the things are being developed. So these are the basic things around which our actual software programming and software development activities take place, and we should be aware about these things, because if we are not aware about these things, even in our library system, we will not be in position to properly understand in depth that what is happening in different system and how different applications are developed for the library management activity. So application softwares are designed for specific end users with the specific purposes. that may be the purpose of automation of maybe some hospital automation, that is also one application software if it is being managed, and it provides different kind of activities to be performed with the help of automated instructions written. Example of application software may be that you are using some word processing or some MS Word, spreadsheet, accounting software, or some web browser, some email, many more things around you. As I discussed, so many specific applications. So, these are very general purpose applications which are used for different purposes for the automated operations or automated activities. Now, let me focus little more on operating system. So, operating system is, once again I will say here, the most important program which run on your computer. Every general purpose computer must have an operating system to run their program or application, because operating system is managing the system activities, whether hardware component or software component, from booting process to allocating different job or processing different application activities, managing different files and memories. All those things are managed by operating system, and without an operating system a computer is useless. So, operating system generally what we see a simple laptop, desktop that is kept somewhere and we are working in that particular. So, it may be one standalone operating system is there, but it may be there is a server or there is a machine on that operating system is installed, and there are some other client machines on which you are working and you have been provided login and password, and your whole activities is managed with the help of that server, and that particular is a kind of networked operating system. So, we have generally seen simple operating system which is working on a standalone machine, whether your laptop is there, desktop is there, or even your mobile phone is there, smart watch is there. So, all these things are managed with the help of the operating system. So, you can see operating system broadly in two perspectives. One is for the desktop, laptop or general purpose computer or PC, another for the mobile phone or the smartphone. Now, further if we see, so how operating system is working? Operating system is basically working like an intermediary between the user and the computer hardware. It is creating the ambience, it is creating the environment for managing all the resources of the computer system and providing you opportunity to work on that particular. So, the general goal of the operating system can be seen as it execute the user program or task which generally assigned to it, and make a computer system convenient to the user. Convenient in different perspective it may be there, it provide facility to so many users. If it is a network operating system, in that multiple users are there and one operating system is providing facility to different users. If one operating system is there, it is providing facility to run multiple program at the same time. You can open your browser as well, you can open word processing software as well as you can open some gaming application at the same time, but it is providing facility you to switch from one task to another task. So, that kind of operating system are known as multitasking. It means it is providing multiple tasks to run simultaneously. Obviously, only one task will be executed by the processor at a time, but you are having facility to load multiple softwares in the main memory and get ready for that, and you can switch from one software to another software to perform the operation. And some operating system provide facility to run multiple programs simultaneously. For example, very simple example you can take that you have opened multiple browsers or multiple pages of different websites and you are downloading from different websites, some different activities are opening different websites. So, you see that those all things are running simultaneously and processor is providing some time to perform the activity of one application and some time to perform the activity of another application. So, in that detail we do not have to go, but we have to feel that these kind of things are provided by the operating system to perform the activities. And obviously, one major goal of the operating system is to efficiently utilize the hardware resources of the computer system. So in the diagram you can see user is sitting on the top, in between user is playing with the applications, different applications are there, and operating system is there that is working as an intermediary between application and the hardware. Some common example of the operating system can be Unix operating system, MS-DOS, which is almost outdated, it is not used, MS Windows, different version of Windows are available, and Linux, and then network operating system like Windows NT 2000. So these are some common operating system which are generally used, and the current version or the latest version or new operating systems keep on coming in the market with the help of the different kind of developmental activity. As you know, some new features are added or some new technologies are added, or it may be some new design architecture itself has been developed. For that the operating system should be entirely differently developed. So it's all depend on the architecture on which that particular operating system is working on. For example, this MS Windows operating system is generally developed for the processor of a specific company, or specific kind of processors are there for which that particular application has been developed, because processor have to talk to your operating system, because in certain term they are communicating to each other with, obviously their language is entirely different, it may be the machine language in which, or in terms of 0 and 1 the conversation is happening, but ultimately there should be a meaningful conversation, and it's all depend on the architecture of the processor. On the basis of that only the code is written for that particular processor to perform the activities. So operating system are very much aligned with the processor's design. So computer operating system basically performs some basic tasks. From your perspective you can list few things like it recognizes the input and output activities. If you are giving some input from your keyboard, then it is recognizing. Similarly, if you are seeing something on the screen or your desktop, then obviously that particular is coming from the operating system only. So your desktop is managed with the help of operating system display screen. Keeping track of file and related activities are happening with the help of operating system. If you are attaching different devices to communicate those different devices, intermediate applications or programs are used, those are known as the drivers. Any device you are using, so there is a driver associated with that. Driver is nothing but some set of instruction which make your operating system communicate to that particular device. Some controlling activity of peripheral devices like mouse, printer, scanner, or maybe if you are going to connect to some external environment, network environment, then how the setup for the network activities or network card related drivers, those all things are managed with the help of operating system, and at the same time it is responsible for preventing unauthorized access. Means if any user is having authority, means login password or some kind of authentication mechanism, then only that trusted user only should be provided access to the system. So one more category of the operating system can be classified on the basis of whether it is for the single user or for the multiple user, whether it is for the single processing activity or multiple processing activity, means more than one program can process at a time, multitasking or single tasking, multi-threading or single threading, whether it is real time or it is non-real time, means time constraints is associated with the activities or not. So a peripheral knowledge of these things should be there, that we know that there are different categories of the operating system on the basis of these activities also. Very commonly use our operating system, that is MS Windows. It provides very good environment for working. It provides the graphical user interface. So graphical user interface means you are having different icons and buttons, and you are having control with the help of mouse, and you pass on your input or instructions with the help of movement or click of the mouse buttons, and activities are performed. So these things makes the working on the operating system easy. Windows operating system is provided or basically designed for the Intel processor. Mobile operating system, if we don't know or we are not aware about that we are using mobile and we are having one operating system for it, then obviously it is very essential for a computer literate to know that we are having operating system installed in our mobile phones, and that particular operating system is working for that mobile phone. It's all depend on now what kind of mobile phone you are using. General mobile phone, you see that Android operating system is available there, different versions are there, and even for the tablet and the smart watches or some other mobile devices, if those things are operating without operating system, they cannot perform. Obviously, they will be little lightweight. Lightweight means their code size will be little less, they will be consuming less memory, less processing capability to process the things, but operating system is a must to run such kind of devices. So, Android operating system and other is iOS operating system. These two are the operating system generally used for the mobile phones. And one more thing we can visualize in the form of whether our activities in the operating system is being processed serially. It means one by one different activities are processed, or we are making a bunch of activities and then we are processing, or multiple activities are processing simultaneously. On the basis of that, one more terminology for the operating system can be given is whether it is serial processing, whether it is batch processing, or whether it is multi-programming. So, again just I am touching on the surface and making you aware that these are the terminologies used for the different kind of operating system, and these activities happens on the basis of that. For example, in serial processing, an ordinary computer will be performing these activities one at a time. It means serially, one by one different activities will be performed. And in batch processing, what will happen? Batch of the activities will be created and that batch will be submitted for the purpose of processing, and that will be processed. And in addition to that, multi-programming, it means the computer system is providing you facility to perform multiple activities simultaneously. So, your operating system is multi-programming operating system, or multiple activities you can perform simultaneously like Windows XP or Windows 10. These provide you facility to run multiple programs simultaneously. So, very quickly let me summarize about the operating system, then we will try to little bit touch on the Ubuntu. So, the main function of the operating system can be seen as process management. Process management means different application activities management, and then memory management, IO management, file management, then error handling and protection, and then security. As you can see in your course or the unit related to this particular session, Ubuntu operating system has been discussed, and that particular is nothing but a operating system based on the Linux, and some of its most popular variant are there like Red Hat Linux, Fedora and Ubuntu. So, Ubuntu is one of them, and Ubuntu has been discussed in your unit, and you can go through the Ubuntu and you can see that how actually you can download Ubuntu and how you can use Ubuntu for your processing activities. It is having one advantage that it is free of cost, means it is open source. Obviously, if some proprietary item is there, then that particular proprietary item is having its cost. If you are purchasing one proprietary operating system, you have to pay for that, but because Ubuntu belongs to open access category, so it is free of cost. It is quite stable and it provides almost all the basic facility which can be used performance wise. Also it is good. It provides networking facility. You can use network functionality, client server model you can create client machine as well as server machine using this operating system, and this operating system is free, so it is having that particular attraction. It is flexible, it is having compatibility to run different kind of packages available in that particular environment, and it better manage the resources associated like hardware resources and IO resources. And the most important feature, again I will reiterate that it is open source operating system, so it is free. Any operating system now if we have to study in little detail, then we have to look about how actually its structure is. Structure in a sense that as a user I am interested that what kind of environment it is providing, what kind of directories it is providing, in which directory, what kind of applications we are loading, and how we can manage our files, how we can manage our application. So it is having its own file and folder structure, and that file and folder structure, it consists of several directories, like it is having boot directories which is having information related to booting facility, it is having etc directory that is having lots of setting activities of the system requirement, and it is having home directory. Basically home directory is your own user directory in which you will be working. It is having multimedia directory, in that the multimedia files are stored, or multimedia file related information contents are stored, like if you are having your pen drive information to be stored, so you have to use multimedia directory. Similarly, root directory is there, which is having again the setting and different related activities. So once you install and you explore these things, you will know little more about how actually Ubuntu operating system is giving you a kind of look and feel, and you can see it, and by practice you can learn. Basically you have to install it, you have to explore the things, you have to see how these different directories are available, and user directory is there. That particular directory is basically used for the purpose of storing the user's information. If you are installing a Ubuntu operating system and you are creating different users for that, so in users directory you will be keeping information related to different users. So it is based on the concept of the free and open source software, so it is attractive in that sense, because you don't have to pay anything directly, you have to install from that particular site. For detail you can see the unit associated with this and you can practice on it. And in addition to it, there are certain basic commands which are used for that purpose. A brief list of some commands are given, like xkill, alias, awk, cp, password. So these commands used for different purposes, like if some processes are creating problem, how you can kill. If you are having a very big name or you are having very big string, then how you can create a alias for that. If you have to write your own script for different activities, then how you can do. So these all things happens with the help of different facilities or different commands provided. For more you have to practice, you have to exercise those things given in your unit, as well as I will recommend that you should explore little more about these commands from different sources. From Google you can try to find out some more tutorial, you can try to explore some more things related to Ubuntu and you can learn little more about it. But installation process is given in detail in your material, so you should go through it and you can learn it. But before we conclude this session, we must have to remember that operating system is one of the important software of computer system which controls, which manage, which take care of security aspects and which provide an environment for working for our applications and program. So with this I conclude this session here. Thank you very much.